Hey y'all, we are going to go ahead and review a little bit of what you did Friday on the videos. Um, Friday on the videos, I did all the even ones with you on combining like terms in the distributive property, and you were told to do I did all the odd numbers with you, and you were told to do all the even numbers on your own. So I am going to give you the answers and hopefully you have that done. If you have an answer that is incorrect, make sure you fix it so you understand why it is incorrect. All right, let's start with number 2 on the combining like terms. 9a minus 10a. They are like terms. A's go with A's. So keep the A. Do what the numbers in front of them say. 9 minus 10 is -1. The other way this could be written could be -a. If there's no number between the negative and the a, it's always known to be a 1. You don't have to write it. So either way you have your answer is acceptable. Number 4, 9. 9 is a constant number. That goes, or just a number by itself, a constant number. That goes with another constant number. So we have 9 and +5. 9 plus 5 is 14. This -6w has nothing to go with it, so put it -6w on the end. Now keep in mind, this answer could be written a different way also. What kind of 6w is this? It's negative, so if you rewrote it, it would be -6w. What kind of 14 is this? It's a +14. So this answer would be acceptable, or the answer we had up here would be acceptable. They mean the same exact thing, but I just wanted to make sure you remember if you're switching it around, the signs ahead of them stay with them. So either way is good. All right, number 6. Oh, what did I do? All right, number 6. H's go with H's. So I have a 5H and I have a +7H. Leave the H, do what the numbers ahead of them say. 5 plus 7 is 12. Now constant numbers go with each other. So -6 minus 8, and the signs ahead of them stay with it. So -6 minus 8 is -14. Now look at what I'm left with. Are they like terms? They are not. H's go with H's, plain numbers go with plain numbers. So you have simplified your expression. Now number 8 gets a little bit trickier because it has A's and B's. Remember, they have to be identical to go together. A's go with A's, B's go with B's. So I have a 26A and a -4A. Keep the A, do what the numbers ahead of them say. 26 minus 4 is 22. B's, I have a +2B and a +10B. Keep the B, do what the numbers ahead of them say. 2 plus 10 is +12. Now keep in mind, can I go any further? Can I add these? Are they like terms? They are not, so that's my answer. A's with A's, B's with B's. All right, now we're going to get a little trickier here, and we're going to have exponents. Remember, they have to be identical variables and identical exponents for you to put them together. So we got an n to the 5th, a -15 n to the 5th, and this one's an n to the 5th. So they go together. Keep the like term. Keep the variable and its exponent. Do what the numbers ahead of them say. -15 plus 4 is -11. So our answer is -11 n to the 5th. All right, I got k-squareds here and just k's. So this is an 8k squared. K-squareds go with k-squareds. and this is a negative 2k squared. Keep the like term, keep the k squared. Do what the numbers ahead of them say. 8 minus 2 is 6. Now the plain k's. This is a negative k. What's the coefficient or the number in front of that k, between the negative and the k, if you don't see it? It is a 1, so add it in so you don't make a mistake. And then a minus 5k. Keep the like term. Do what the numbers ahead of it says. It says negative 1 minus 5, which is negative 6. So I put my minus 6 and I have my k there. This constant number has nothing else to go with it, so I'm going to throw it on the end. Now let's look at the expression that I have left. Can I subtract or add anything else? I cannot, because they are not like terms. That is my final answer. Oops. All right, going a little bit trickier. I see remember that's a 1x squared. The coefficient in front of it, or the number in front of it, is 1 if you don't see it. I always add it in so I don't make a silly mistake. Do I see any other x squareds? I don't. So I am going to leave it by itself. Then I have a xy. Do I see any other xy? I do. So keep the like term, keep the xy. Do what the numbers say. 2 minus 7 is minus 5xy. Then I have this y squared. Do I have any other y squareds to go with it? I do not, so I just put it on the end. Look at the expression that you have left. Do you have any other like terms? You do not, so this is your answer fully simplified. Number 16, remember, x squareds go with x squareds. Keep the like term. Do what the numbers ahead of them say. 4 minus 3 is 1x squared.
Pardon the interruption. This is a change.
All right, next I have a negative 7. That is a constant number. Where else do I have another constant number or a plain number? And it looks like to me it's over here with negative 6. So do what it says. Negative 7 minus 6 is negative 13, or minus 13. Whoops. All right, next I have an x, a plain x. Any other x to go with it? Looks like right there. So keep the like term. Do what the numbers ahead of them say. Positive 2 plus 8 is positive 10. Now look at the expression you are left with. Do you have any more like terms? You do not, so you are done. All right, let's try some geometry. It says give the perimeter of each figure as a simplified expression. Remember, perimeter means act like you are here. I walk all the way around every side, and I take each side and I add it together. So the perimeter equals the first side plus the second side plus the third side. And now I need to see if I can add. See if I have any like terms. This is a 17. That is a constant number. Do you see any other constant plain numbers? I do. I see a minus 1. What is 17 minus 1? It is 16. Good job. Negative a. What coefficient is in front of that a? Remember, the number in front of the variable is your coefficient. So between the negative and the a, I have a 1. Or between the subtraction and the a, which is the same thing. So a's with a's. It looks like I have another a here. Keep the like term. Do what the numbers ahead of them say. Negative 1 plus 5 is positive 4a. Now it looks like I have this left, AB. I have nothing else to go with that, so throw it on the end. So my perimeter equals, look at what the expression that you're left with. Do you have any more like terms? You do not. So your perimeter equals that whole expression. All right, one more perimeter question. Now this is a trapezoid, and this is a base. This is called a base, and these are your sides here. So remember, perimeter is I walk around each part and I add each side together. So perimeter equals, I'm going to start here. And I'm going to add this side. And I'm going to add this side. And I'm going to add this side. Now let's check to see like terms. I got a k squared first. Remember, the coefficient in front of it is 1. Put it there so you don't forget. Where else do I have a k squared? I have one right here. There's a coefficient of 1 in front of it. Where else? Right here I have a 2k squared, and right here I have a 1k squared. So keep your k squared. Do what the numbers in front of all of them tell you. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5k squared. Next, I have a k. That's a negative 9k. Where else do I have a k? It looks to me like I have one right here. The coefficient in front of that one is 1. Then I have one over here. The coefficient in front of that one is 1. So put your k down, do what the numbers ahead of them say. Negative 9 plus 1 is negative 8. Whoops. Sorry, negative 9, I'm going to the blue ones. Negative 9 plus 1 is negative 8. Negative 8 plus 1 is negative 7, so minus 7k. Next, I have a constant number, a plain number by itself. Positive 23 minus 17. 23 minus 17 is positive 6. So look at what you're left with. Do you have any like terms here, any more? You do not. So you have fully simplified the expression for the perimeter of this trapezoid. Let's go ahead and move on to combining your like term. All right, I just said let's move on to combining like terms, but we just did combining like terms, so now we're going to get on to the distributive property notes that you had to do. I believe I did the evens with you, and you had to do the odds on your own to make sure you understood. So follow along with me. Remember, when you distribute, you're getting rid of your parentheses by distributing the number in front of your parentheses. When you distribute, it goes to everything inside of parentheses, and you multiply. 2 times b is 2b. Now 2 goes to this minus 3. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Now look what you're left with. You have 2b minus 6. Can you subtract them? Remember, b's go with b's, and plain numbers or constant numbers go with themselves. So you cannot go any further. You have fully simplified this problem. All right, now we're being asked to distribute the negative 5. So we want to put the negative 5 to the end, and then the negative 5 to the minus 2. Negative 5 times m is negative 5m. Negative 5 times minus 2, so negative 5 times negative 2 is positive 10. Look at the expression you're left with. Can I combine them? Can I add them? You cannot, because m's go with m's and constant numbers go with constant numbers. So that is it. You are fully finished. All right, distribute that 8. Remember, when you distribute, you multiply. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times negative b. Remember, there's a 1 here as your coefficient. So 8 times negative 1b would be negative 8b. Can I go any further? Can I subtract these two? Are they like terms? They have to be identical to go together, and they are not, so you are done. All right, distribute that 5. What do we got? 5 times 2m is 10m. 5 times a minus 3, or 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. Always ask yourself, can I simplify this expression? Can I subtract them? You cannot, because they are not like terms. All right, distribute that 3. 3 times m is 3m. 3 times positive 1, remember there's 1's in front of these as coefficients, so 3 times 1m is 3m. 3 times positive 1n is positive 3n. Think to yourself, can I add them? You cannot. They are not like terms. M's go with M's, N's go with N's, so they don't go together, you're done. All right, distribute that D. So 1D times 1C. 1D times 1C is just DC. Put them together. 1D times negative 4 is negative 4D. You always put the number in front because that's your coefficient. Are they like terms? Can you subtract them? You cannot. This is a DC. This is just a D. They don't go together. That's it. These are starting to get a little bit more challenging. Okay, now we have 3 things inside of parentheses, so the 2 needs to go to each one of them. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 1y is negative 2y. And 2 times positive 8 is positive 16. Can you subtract or add any of these? You cannot. They're not like terms. You are done. Ooh, they're throwing some variables in here. So let's have our calculator up in case you need... Oops, I don't have my calculator up. Well, in case you need a refresher, I'll remind you. Okay, so let's go ahead and distribute the 1/4. So 1/4 times 8x. Keep the x. 1/4 times 8. Remember in your calculator to get your fraction, click alpha, y equals, and then number 1 for, why did I write that? And then number 1 for our numerator / denominator. Okay, and if you do that, you get a 2x. 1/4 times negative 4 would be minus 1. Can you combine them? No, they are not like terms. You're done. This one's fun. We got a little bit more fractions, so we got to remember. Distribute to get rid of parentheses. So I'm going to show you on the side. Negative 1/8 times 4/5 x. Keep the x. Multiply these together. Remember, use your calculator to get a fraction. Alpha, y equals number 1 for the numerator / denominator. and then put in your -1 for your numerator. Use the down arrow to put in your 8 for the denominator. Then use the over arrow to put your times sign. And then you can put in another fraction. And once you're done with that, hit enter and get your answer. And your answer would be -1/10. And now 1/8 goes to -24. I'll do that in a different color. -1/8 times -24, and negative times a negative leaves me with a positive. 1/8 times -24, I'm sure you're going to put that in your calculator and check, and that is going to give you +3. Now double check yourself. Can I go ahead and combine those? Only if they're like terms, and they are not. You're done. Ooh, how much harder am I getting on y'all? Oops. All right, we only have a few more. All right, let's distribute. Now keep in mind, I have a lot to distribute here. I have the 9 to distribute here and here. So 9 times 2k is 18k. 9 times -4 is -36. I also then have this -2 to distribute. So they're giving me more than one thing. -2 times 7k is -14k. -2 times -12 is +24. Now you need to look. Do I have any more like terms I can combine? K's with K's, constant numbers with constant numbers. 18k minus 14k. Keep the like term. Do what the numbers ahead of them say. 18 minus 14 would be 4k. Then it looks like I have constant numbers. -36 plus 24 would be -12. One last question to yourself. Can I subtract these? You cannot. They are not like terms. You are done. All right. I got to get rid of parentheses. Distribute. The 8 is in front of you. Always have to get rid of parentheses first. The 8 is in front of parentheses. That's the only thing that gets distributed. This 6 stays by itself, and then this +8 is getting distributed. So +8 times 4w is +32w. +8 times -7 is -56. Now I have another set of parentheses. What number is here for me to distribute? I see a subtraction sign, but I don't see a number next to it. If you don't, there's always a 1 there. So take that and distribute it. -1 times 2w is -2w. -1 times +1 is -1. Now check. Do I have any more like terms I can put together? Let's see what we got here. I have a constant number. It goes with my other constant numbers, and it looks like I have 2 more. So go from left to right. 6 minus 56 would be -50, and then -50 minus 1 would be -51. W's with W, +32w minus 2w. That would be a +30w. Now look at what you're left with. Can I add those together? You cannot. They are not like terms. You're done. Last but not least, some lovely fractions, but you get to use your calculator. So let's go ahead and get rid of the first set of parentheses by distributing my 7/8. So 7/8, whoops, times 4/5 x. Leave the x, multiply the fractions. Use your calculator, the steps that I just told you before. Alpha, remember the green alpha button? Y equals, and then number 1 for your numerator/denominator. Put your numerator in, Use the down arrow to put your denominator in. Use the over arrow to then put in your multiplication sign. And then you can add your other fraction and hit enter to get your answer. So I think that's 7/10 x. And now 7/8 goes to 16. So 7/8 times 16, put that in your calculator, and I believe that would give you plus 14. Now we want to go ahead and distribute the 3/5 to everything over here. I'm going to delete all this so I can write the rest. All right, so 3/5 times 1/2 x. Keep the x, multiply the numbers, and I believe that's going to give you plus 3/10 x. And now I have 3/5 times -10. And that is going to give me -6. Look what you're left with. Do you have any like terms? You do. This x goes with this x. Keep the x. 7/10 plus 3/10. When you're adding fractions, you keep the denominator, you keep the like denominator, add the numerator. 7 plus 3 is 10. And 10 divided by 10 is just 1, so really that's just x. Constant numbers go together, so 14 minus 6 is positive 8. So your answer is x plus 8. If you put a 1 in front of that x, you're totally fine. All right, great job. Go ahead and see what the rest of your work is for the day. Email me if you have any concerns.